Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Data Dispatch. We have some breaking news to report regarding Tesla. On top of Dan Ives, a big analyst from Wedbush, coming out with a bullish statement ahead of Tesla earnings, which will be occurring this Wednesday, post-market, October 23rd. A lot of eyeballs are going to be looking at what are the earnings going to report. And also, you got groundbreaking news in terms of their vehicles. Tesla comes out with a statement a few hours ago releasing that they are going to be offering 0% APR terms on some of their vehicles. What? Talk about the competition that just came out, and very strategic to be released ahead of earnings, and especially a big disruptor in the automobile industry. We're going to be breaking down the details and what this really means. We're also going to be talking about, of course, Palantir. We've been talking about that daily on the channel, sitting at these record highs. Where do we see this going in the near future? And NVIDIA breaking out over, and it's closing at 143 today. A lot of important information to break down. If you're a new or a returning viewer, hit that like button, subscribe for daily videos, and of course, not a financial advisor, collecting all the data and dispatching it to you. Now, pop it up. Let's talk about Dan Ives coming out here, talking about Tesla's earning this week, saying that there are a lot of moving parts in the Tesla story over the next year, but ultimately, the encouraging China strength seen this quarter will be a linchpin for the bullish Tesla narrative. Looking ahead, margins should start to move higher this quarter. Interesting statement here, especially what we've seen in China. A lot of stimulus being pumped into that economy with that October 23rd earnings date for post-market, expecting earnings per share of about 60 cents, correlated with a revenue of about $25 billion. Now, back and forth on the earnings per share revisions in terms of bullish and bearish direction. But on top of that, you also have this breaking news right here, starting tonight as we speak, that Tesla is offering a record low loan rate of 0% APR for new Model 3 and Model Y finance orders in the US. You do not need to purchase FSD to get 0%. Here are the two constraints that come along with the statement. For the Model Y, this is available only for terms up to 60 months and requires a minimum down payment of 20%, but you also get a $7,500 federal tax credit will be applied if eligible. And for the Model 3, available for 36-month terms and requires a minimum down payment of 20%, also including with that $7,500 federal tax credit will be applied. On top of that, they're also having a deal right now. You can get $1,000 off a new Tesla if you want to go on there and order that. But speaking of that, 0% right now in today's economy, this is a big disruptor into the automobile industry, and Tesla is very smart on the way they release news. So we will see what happens, because specifically, if we look at their price action, sitting at about 218, remember after the robo-taxi event, this was not, very cool to see the technology that's evolving with the Tesla, but not enough details and confirmations were released to please investors. And we saw a sell-off of that going from about 240. Now where Tesla sits at about 218. So sitting at this price zone right before earnings, we could possibly see a little bit of a pullback or push up possibly even to these recent times in price action levels of about 240, where Tesla has really kind of been consolidating, going up and down. And here you can see, of course, resistance at that 266. Now, specifically, what do you need to know ahead of Tesla's earnings? We're going to be talking about that and breaking that down. Analysts are expecting Tesla's revenue to rise from the same time last year, while the actual profit is projected to fall slightly. This is what the street is predicting. Now, we talked about the robotaxi event. This unveiling left some analysts disappointed, looking for more details on how, when autonomous taxis are actually going to operate. And there was a number of questions that were kind of resulted from the robo-taxi event. And we're seeing a lot of analysts that are somewhat split on the actual position for Tesla in terms of holding, buying, or selling. But the key metric here for deliveries, remember Tesla's third quarter deliveries, they actually came in above estimates earlier this month, but failed to spark a rally for the stock like last quarter's numbers did. So there's one actually bullish catalyst for Tesla, the fact that you have third quarter deliveries that came in above estimates, and you also have bullish statements coming here from Dan Ives on top of the new 0% APR constraints for specific finance terms. You have the robotaxi event aftermath, which actually causes Tesla to go into more of a selling position. This is where entry points could look more lucrative for people looking to trade in the short term or even in the long term off of not just this earnings. We're going to have volatility, of course, that does arise from that, but for Tesla's future. And JP right here, with an underweight rating, they talk about here, and $130 price target, lacking in detail for the robotaxi event, you have a lot of analysts and a lot of bearish sentiment that is pushing pressure on Tesla. So for those that are looking to get at decent entry points, that could possibly, depending on what your risk assessment is, be something that is, of course, available. Or on the flip side, looking to think if you think earnings are going to go down. But these are some big groundbreaking events that are occurring right now. Now, let's talk about Palantir. Where are we sitting at with the price? With PLTR closing here at 42.70, basically consolidating on the day, not looking too bad. We still see closing at near these record highs. Of course, one of the biggest criticisms for PLTR is its valuation. However, that seems to be disconnected to the current momentum that we're seeing, not just in terms of the SaaS stocks, Palantir, but the AI stocks in general. They're all trading at pretty high premiums. Palantir, of course, is trading at a higher premium compared to some of the others. But with that being said, you still see a lot of momentum pouring into the stock and a lot of buying pressure at these record highs. Now, these are near all-time highs, so you do need to take that with a grain of salt, especially for the risk of downside potential. However, a big bullish technical indicator that is being set up as we speak is a cup and handle. This is very small if we zoom out on the actual historical trading patterns of PLTR, but nonetheless, we see consolidation at these record highs. That's typically a bullish sign, especially for Palantir. We'll see what happens. Now, with the general market, we actually see stock futures right now as we speak are little change as earnings season gains steam. Now, we actually see the broader market right here that closes. NASDAQ is up slightly in the green, but you got the S&P 500 and Dow Jones that come down slightly, breaking this long winning streak that we have seen. Now, this is most likely due to the fact that we have a lot of big earnings in big corporate America that needs to report those earnings still, and that's all going to be coming up here relatively soon. Investors are really remaining fixated on the third quarter earnings season, with about 1/5 of the S&P 500 stocks that are slated to report results this week. A lot of earnings, and the market's going to be sitting on standby with uncertainty, anticipating and awaiting what's going to be happening with the general and a grand amount of those actual companies reporting those earnings. However, the track record so far has been good. About 14% of the companies in the broad index, the S&P, have reported results, with more than 7 out of 10 actually topping earnings estimates. So the track record has been good. We're still seeing signs of resiliency in the economy, even while it's still early in the earnings season. Wall Street concerns, though, however, has the bar been set too high for corporate America? We're not seeing that yet, but with a lot of companies that will be reporting, that is a concern that is arising. Why we could possibly not see a lot of movement within the market. However, talking about movement in the market, NVDA stock soars to fresh record as Wall Street sees very bullish ahead of earnings. And what we specifically see for NVIDIA, closing here at 143, we've seen price targets at the 150s, things like that. But we're even seeing these record highs being set. Big companies like Bank of America on Friday raised its price target from 165 to 190. You also have different ones right here. CFRA raised its price target from 139 to 160. The bar keeps getting set higher for NVIDIA, and they're continuing to reach these accomplishments. You also have the Blackwell chip, their new AI chip that is going to be rolling out, and we even have the CEO of NVIDIA that came out that said that demand is insane, and they can't keep up, expecting at least a 12-month delay when you're ordering those Blackwell chips. That shows you the supply and the demand that NVIDIA does have on its side right now. And what you have right here is Dan Ives coming saying that in a nutshell, that they believe the stage is set for tech stocks to see another 20% move higher in 2025, with the bull market just hitting its next phase, led by the AI revolution. So what do you think down in the comments? Do you think these new terms for 0% APR, do you think that is bullish for Tesla, or is that also possibly a cry for help? What is your opinion down in the comments? Do you think their earnings are going to be good? Do you think it'll be a positive catalyst? And what's your opinion on Palantir and NVIDIA? I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, take care, and have a wonderful day.